Coming up tonight on VCU InSight.
I'm Bethany Bridges. Find out some of the reasons why this year Richmond might see its highest murder rate since 2006.
I'm Yvonne Hewlett. One Petersburg church is fighting to keep its nearly 200-year legacy alive, but its building is in desperate need of repairs. Coming up, I'll tell you how you can help.
Tonight, we'll tell you which colleges offer free tuition and where they're located so you don't have to graduate with debt.
All this and more.
VCU InSight starts now.
From the Richard T. Robertson School of Media and Culture at Virginia Commonwealth University, named Best Student Newscast in the Mid-Atlantic, this is VCU InSight.
Good evening and welcome to VCU InSight. I'm Yvonne Hewlett.
And I'm Kate Conway. Thanks for joining us. Richmond is the #1 murder capital in Virginia and number 19 in the United States, according to the website 24/7 Wall Street. And if that isn't shocking enough, there are only 2 more murders this year. Richmond will reach its highest murder rate in a decade.
Of years, the average of murders each year has been right around 40, but this year there have been 58 murders, and 53 of them have involved guns. Deputy Chief Steve Drew explained some of the main reasons why this year's murder rate has been so high.
The conflict resolution, people don't know how to settle rifts. We have some domestic situations. We have a lot of robberies or drug robberies, where we have drug dealers robbing other drug dealers.
Longtime Richmond resident Basil Smith says that he is concerned with how high the murder rate is this year.
I'm not fearful for myself. I'm fearful for the children that are growing up that see these teenagers with these guns.
Smith says that when you are raised around people using guns to solve their problems, you will think that that's the way to solve your problems. He says we have to put our trust in law enforcement and respect them. Of the 58 murders that have happened so far this year, Richmond Police have already solved about 40 of them. And of the remaining open cases, they have a strong lead on at least half of them.
We have had a bad year with murders this year, but I want to make sure that each one, that we understand that each murder is a victim. It's a family member, it's a family that has lost a family member, right? It affects the community that person lived in, their friends, their families, and we've got a loss of life. So one homicide is too many.
For VCU InSight, I'm Bethany Bridges.
Police encourage anyone with information about a crime to call Crime Stoppers at 804-337-8477.
California-based company Tesla Motors will soon be opening their first electric car dealership here in Richmond. With the group's unique business model, this announcement is coming as surprising news to several Richmond auto dealers. Cole Smith reports.
Here off Broad Street in Short Pump, expanding car company Tesla Motors will soon begin construction on their new dealership after being granted permission by the Virginia DMV Commissioner Richard Holcomb. However, this decision has not been accepted by everyone.
Tucker Bloom of the Virginia Automotive Dealers Association, a group representing independent car and truck dealerships across the state, says Holcomb's decision to let Tesla operate their own store in Richmond sets a bad standard for other auto manufacturers to follow, one that could replace the independent dealers they represent with more company-owned dealerships.
Our issue is there is a law in place in Virginia that states no manufacturer may own its own retail facility, a brick-and-mortar retail facility, which is essentially what Tesla wants to do.
But despite Virginia law, Tesla is allowed to own their own store because their business model doesn't allow dealer discounts or incentives to be placed on their vehicles. Commissioner Holcomb says this would make it too difficult for independent dealers to sell Tesla's cars. Bloom says the VADA plans to appeal Holcomb's decision to the Richmond Circuit Court, but the University of Richmond's automotive economics professor George Hoffer says he expects this battle to go the distance.
It'll come up before the General Assembly. It'll come up before the General Assembly starting early next year, because Tesla is going to try to get the law changed.
At this time, there is no set date for construction to begin here. However, if the case does go in front of the General Assembly, it is expected to be heard sometime during their next session. That is scheduled to begin January 11th. For VCU InSight, I'm Cole Smith.
If the case goes to the General Assembly, we'll keep you updated.
Nearly 36% of Virginia middle school students take care of themselves after school. That's according to Next Up RVA, an after-school program that mentors young people in art classes, chess, and robotics, just to name a few courses.
Next Up RVA is a free program that provides after-school activities. They also provide dinner, a snack, and transportation home. Throughout the past 3 years, the after-school program promoting learning after the bell rings has dramatically changed the behavior and grades of middle schoolers from 3 middle schools in Richmond: Henderson, Bouchal, and Lucille Brown.
When kids are doing positive things, when they have a chance to be around positive influences, whether it's their peers, other adults, that it has an effect on their behavior, their sense of well-being and hopefulness.
More than 360 students participate in the program between these 3 schools. 60% of students improved and demonstrated good school attendance, 84% have better behavior, and more than 60% of students have better grades. According to SIPE, Next Up RVA's tracking of student progress is showing a decrease of possible cases in the school-to-prison pipeline link.
That when kids have access to quality programs that give them a safe and positive place to be when they're not in school, that they do more positive things. We have an opportunity then to reduce teen pregnancy, reduce juvenile crime, increase their school outcomes.
Next Up RVA is continuing to spread the word about their program, says SIPE. In the next 2 years, Next Up RVA is looking to be working with 2 more Richmond City Public School middle schools. For VCU,
SIPE wants Next Up RVA to be in all 8 Richmond middle schools by the year 2020. For more information, visit nextuprva.org.
A North Carolina man opened fire in Washington, D.C. after reading a false election-related conspiracy theory accusing Hillary Clinton and her staff as pedophiles. This is the most recent example of how serious the consequences can be if people believe false news. Mainstream media experts are urging everyone to fact-check what they read. Fake news has become more prominent with the rapid growth of the use of social media. Some people have even gone as far as to blame social platforms like Facebook for the results of the presidential election. While some people have pushed for Facebook and Google to weed out the false information from accurate news, Jeff South, associate professor at the Robertson School of Media and Culture, says that it's the responsibility of the public to protect themselves from falling victim to false reporting.
I'd much rather the solution be on the shoulders of the news consumer and equipping people with news literacy skills to be able to identify what is bogus information, what stories.
Fake news headlines fool American adults about 75% of the time, according to a large-scale news survey conducted by BuzzFeed News. The survey also found that people who cite Facebook as a major source of news are more likely to view fake news headlines as accurate than those who rely less on the platform for news.
Coming up next on VCU InSight, believe it or not, you can go to college for free, and you don't need a scholarship. We'll tell you where.
Plus, Richmond gets smart about on-street parking. We'll show you how to use your phone so you don't get a ticket.
We've never been very good at sitting still. Maybe that's why we built our campus in the middle of a city. Why we put our classrooms on riverbanks, in Fortune 500 companies, even on stage. At Virginia Commonwealth University, learning happens everywhere. What matters most is how you make it real.
In our continuing series on the $1.2 trillion student debt problem, we told you some American students moved to Canada to get a cheaper education.
That's right, Yvonne. The national student debt problem is so bad that some graduates have actually put off getting married and even buying a house. But there is hope. Did you know you can attend some colleges for free? We'll tell you where some of them are. When graduating a four-year institute, some students face mounds of debt. Some American students have gone as far as attending colleges in other countries. But one way to help minimize student debt is attending a college with free tuition. According to Bankrate.com, there are 5 colleges you can go to for free. The U.S. Air Force Academy, located in Colorado Springs, Colorado, provides free tuition but requires 5 years of active duty and 3 years in the reserves. College of Ozarks in Missouri requires students to work during the academic year to qualify for free tuition.
We don't pass along any of the tuition costs to our students at all. They work to offset tuition. They pay about $430 a year in fees. That's a technology fee and a health care fee. the tuition for them is fully covered. They work 15 hours a week at their different workstations. We have about 100 workstations. They can apply for the program to work through the summer, and what that does is it offsets their room and board.
Much like the College of Ozarks, Berea College in Kentucky offers the same type of program.
Part of the way we keep our costs low and students keep their costs low are all of our students are required to participate in a work-study program. So all students are required to work as part of being a work college.
The Webb Institute in Glen Cove, New York also offers free tuition for U.S. citizens and green card holders. The university offers only 2 majors, naval architecture and marine engineering. According to the school, the concentrated education results in 100% of students finding jobs once they graduate. In New York City, Macaulay Honors College has free tuition for in-state students, but admissions are limited to the top-performing students. For more information on colleges with free tuition, check out the bankrate.com website. And students with debt should also be aware of student loan scams. According to authorities, there are a number of bogus companies that promise to pay off your student debt, something you can actually do on your own. The best advice? Go through any website with the .gov domain, especially through the Department of Education.
And you have more for us, right, Kate?
Actually, Yvonne, I do. The U.S. government is forgiving $108 billion of outstanding student debt under President Obama's student loan repayment program.
Sounds good. Thank you, Kate. What's it like to do time in the Richmond City Jail? One VCU professor has published a book highlighting the stories of those incarcerated.
The book is called Writing Our Way Out. Tiffany Hill's in the studio with David Coogan to talk about his inspiration for the book. Tiffany?
Thanks, Kate. I'm here with David Coogan, a VCU professor and author of Writing Our Way Out. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Tiffany.
So we'd like to start off about your book, Writing Your Way Out.
Yeah.
So what was the driving inspiration behind your book, behind writing it?
Well, when I first moved to Richmond, I was living in Libby Hill Park near an area that had a crime scene. And I had never lived so close to a crime scene before. And after they caught the rapist, and they prosecuted him and his friends, and the news stories started to come out, I started to develop this question in my head. Why do people do what they do? And is there some way that I could help them figure out another thing to do? If they could write their way out of the lifestyle that led them into crime, maybe I would be doing something useful for the community. And so that was that driving question. Can people change their lives?
And was it hard to sit down and listen to the stories of the people featured in your book?
Yeah, it was incredibly difficult because I had never known those kinds of stories. And, you know, when you're not prepared to hear the truth, it can really hurt. And I had to kind of ready myself each day that I'd go in there. And there were times when I'd leave the jail feeling like I was carrying other people's burdens on my back. It was like a sack. You know, I was like a Sherpa going up the hill with other people's memories. And it hurt, you know. I don't know how those Sherpas do it, you know. Everybody else got the camping gear, they're gonna walk up with boots, you know, but the Sherpa's gotta go in sandals, and it's cold, you know. And so I was the writing teacher out of my element, but I was happy.
And what would you say the hardest part was about writing this?
Teaching with your whole spirit. You can't just teach writing. I mean, it's not a writing class anymore. At some point, it's a class in living. So you have to figure out, how can I translate what I do as a writing teacher in the community in a way that it passes through this membrane and it comes out the other side like, wow, that's not something I've ever done before. When I say teaching with your whole spirit, I mean learning how to respond to people humanely, creatively, ethically, and in ways with your words and also with your intentions. It's the most enlivening kind of teaching I've ever done, and it changed me.
And what do you hope people take away from this book the most?
Wow. It's a hopeful book. You go through a lot of pain in these stories, it's true. The men that I taught at the jail have been through everything from abandonment to drug addiction to structural racism and poverty. But these are hopeful stories of overcoming all that. So in my view, if you don't finish the book with a new treasured sense that humanity is going in the right direction, then maybe you need to go back and start reading again.
Well, thank you. I've been speaking with David Coogan here. Back to you.
It's about to get easier to pay for parking in the city. Richmond is currently in the process of upgrading their new solar-powered parking stations. Drivers will now be able to pay using their license plate information. According to the city, the upgrade will include a feature, Extend by Phone, which will give drivers the ability to extend their parking time by text.
While I'm in class, sometimes I'll be like, oh my God, I gotta rush out of here. Sometimes I have to leave early to go and put more money in and come back. And I know my teachers be looking at me like, what? So I think that's a good idea.
The upgrade will result in about 50% fewer customer service calls and is expected to save around $25,000 each year.
VCU Police and neighborhood students came together in a very creative way. Artwork courtesy of VCU art students welcomed officers to their new VCU Police headquarters on East Broad Street. Jason Adkins, a student in the class, says they saw this as a meaningful way of reaching out.
It's almost like a peace offering, to the police, welcoming them to the neighborhood, and hoping for a meaningful relationship.
Some of the artwork showing donuts and coffee aimed to poke fun at some of the more common police jokes. VCU mechanical and nuclear engineering students have their future in their hands. The department worked with industry leader MakerBot to establish the Commonwealth's first innovation laboratory. The lab officially opened in August of 2016. Mechanical and engineering students are now able to use 3D printers and scanners to replicate and design models. The new facility will foster undergraduate education and will give a hands-on approach to product development.
They're going to actually be able to take something from a three-dimensional model on a computer and basically bring it into real life and actually see if it's going to work or not, even if it's scaled down.
The laboratory will be used in a middle school outreach program starting in summer 2017 and aid VCU computer engineering courses.
Still to come, the holiday season is here, but so are the scammers. We'll tell you how to steer clear of the Christmas crooks.
And Richmond's newest bridge will make the James River more accessible than ever before. Coming up, we'll take you inside the grand opening that's been 4 years in the making.
VCU's Richard T. Robertson School in Media and Culture welcomes students from around the world with their Global Media Visiting Scholar program.
Dr. Hong Ching, the school's director, says that the program provides opportunities for students, faculty, and visiting scholars to learn from each other.
VCU InSight's Austin Moore is here to talk with one of the visitors. Austin?
Thanks, Kate. I'm here with Hui Zai, a visiting scholar from Wuxi, China, and a part of VCU's Global Media Visiting Scholar program. Thanks so much for being with me here today, Hawaii.
Thank you, Austin. I'm so glad to be here.
So can you tell me a little bit about what you do in China? What's your job?
Okay, I'm a TV reporter in China, Wuxi TV station. My routine work as a TV reporter is focused on news gathering, news reporting, writing, editing, and producing. Yes, we cover different kinds of news, like local news, political news, breaking news. But for me, I'm focused on business and finance news.
Okay.
Yeah, and besides reporting some news, I also anchor a business news named The First Finance.
That's impressive.
Yes, very impressive.
So why did you choose to come to VCU's program?
In our TV station, we have English news. We also have international news. So we need some person who not only have the ability to produce and edit news, but also proficient in English. So that's why we have a program named WISE program. almost every year our company will send some selective young people to study abroad. That's why I chose VCU. Yeah, because VCU have a very amazing Robertson school. Yeah.
Okay, so you've been here for about 4 months, right?
Yes, I've been here, 4 months so far.
What have you learned so far?
Oh, I learned a lot of things here. Robertson School focuses on journalism, media, advertising, and PR. So I ordered some classes like writing, TV and broadcasting journalism. We taking class together.
Right.
Yeah, and also business media. Yeah, besides ordered some classes, I also take part in different kinds of events on campus or off campus. And I also make some friends here, explore some places, try some American food. That's an amazing thing.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad you're having a good time. I hope you learn a lot.
Yeah, thank
I've been
you.
talking with Hui Zai, and we're going to send it back to the studio now. Thanks.
A 200-year-old Petersburg church needs your help. First Baptist Church hopes to continue their legacy of serving the community through education, but their building needs major repairs.
Inside one of Petersburg's most historical churches stands a congregation looking to expand membership and make major improvements. What was once a congregation of well over 1,000 members is now a mere 100. But First Baptist pastor Reverend Robert Dawson is hopeful change will come.
God grows the church. The scriptures tell us that He adds to the church. He's the Lord of the harvest. And if we do our part, which is to fulfill the Great Commission, somehow, some way He does what He does.
First Baptist Church also needs repairs due to water damage throughout the facility, as well as termite damage. So far, the church has raised just over $300,000. Dawson is trying to meet a $500,000 goal by Easter to continue the 7-phase improvement plan.
Phase 1 was completed end of late spring this past year. It has sealed all 3 roof surfaces, both the education wings and the sanctuary. Had we not done this now, it's no telling how further advanced the damage would have been.
First Baptist Church was founded in 1817 and has been dedicated to education in the inner city. In 1863, the now Virginia Education Association was founded in the basement of the church, promoting the educational welfare of Virginia. Many years ago, First Baptist held the first tuition-free kindergarten program in Petersburg City. Capital Endowment Campaign Chairman Betty Steele is hoping that with repairs to the church, they can implement these programs again.
Well, we just feel that young people today, in many cases, are struggling. They have many problems to face, and we feel like that a faith-based preschool here at the church could help that situation.
Dawson remains optimistic about the church's future.
We're on a faith venture.
The church encourages anyone interested in making a donation toward repairs to make a check payable to First Baptist Church at 235 West Washington Street. After a year of construction, the Pottersfield Memorial Bridge is complete. The highly anticipated pedestrian bridge connects Browns Island to Manchester. Tony Tucker has more on the riverfront's newest attraction.
Christmas trees weren't the only thing lighting up on a Friday night in Browns Island as hundreds of Richmonders gathered for the grand opening of the T. Tyler Pottersfield Memorial Bridge. The bridge is named in honor of the late T. Tyler Pottersfield, who was a senior planner for Richmond's Department of Planning and Development Review and the project manager of the bridge. The Pottersfield Bridge is the first completed project in the $10 million Phase 1 Riverfront Master Plan, according to CBS 6, a plan Mayor Dwight Jones has been pushing for in the last 4 years of his administration. Mayor Jones describes what the completion of the bridge means to the city.
We had the desire to get people closer to the river so that they could see it, feel it, and touch it, and tonight is an example of what that means.
Local resident Mark Powell says that the newly constructed bridge will make the riverfront a go-to spot for exercising.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be a great destination. And for bike riding, I think it's going to work out great.
The 1,600-foot Pottersfield Bridge, which equals to about 1/3 of a mile, is safely designed for users to run, walk, ride their bike, and even wheelchair across. Longtime visitor of Browns Island, Don Tracy, says reading about the bridge in the newspaper made him want to check it out for himself.
read Michael Paul Williams' column in the paper yesterday about it and decided to take the bus down and walk down, bus downtown and walk down just to walk across it and back. Really neat. Gets you really close to the river, even more than the footbridge at the Lee Bridge, I think. So, really neat.
For VCU InSight, I'm Tony Tucker.
According to the James River Association, the Riverfront Master Plan is expected to continue under Mayor-elect LeVar Stoney.
Since the holiday season is in full swing, police are telling shoppers to be cautious of scams. With the help of FBI, Forbes published an article about the top 5 scams to look out for this holiday season. They are fake charities, seasonal employment scams, social media links, smartphone apps, and unfamiliar websites selling heavily discounted items. For example, a fake Kate Spade website is offering cheap bags for $75. And remember, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. Go to scamawareness.org to check if the site or charity is real or fake.
If you go downtown, you'll find the James Center spreading Christmas magic throughout Richmond. They hosted the 32nd annual Grand Illumination, a family tradition. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Santa Claus counted down the seconds to illuminate the grand tree, reindeer, and downtown office buildings. Large crowds filled the James Center Plaza. It was an evening for holiday cheer and local Richmonders. The VCU Pep Band got the crowd ready by playing some of their popular hits. The Richmond Boys Choir performed, along with Virginia Repertory Theater's cast of A Christmas Story. This was the 5th year for the James Center, bringing awareness to Greater Richmond's Stop Child Abuse Now by collecting toys for children. And that does it for this edition of VCU InSight.
Make sure to check out our website at insight.vcu.edu.
You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook under VCU InSight. Contact us with stories you'd like to see on our show.
And if you missed our show or would like to watch it again, you can find us on YouTube at VCU InSight. Thanks for watching. I'm Kate Conway.
And I'm Yvonne Hewlett. Happy holidays.